Assalamu alaikum. We are now on our last 3 chapters of the Book of Tawheed in the first volume. I call it the first volume because I split it into 2 volumes. And they are the most interesting and most important. Why? Because for me, being grown in the West, the only knowledge I had of this type of behavior was because I was always interested in history and sociology and other cultures. And I knew from earliest times that the world is full of belief in evil spirits, not just the devil, but everything. And it used to be that way in Europe, but Allah relieved them after a fashion, you can say. And I remember my mom sometimes telling stories of her mom, telling stories of old Italy. And I knew they had the leprechauns and the fairies and all that on my dad's side from old Ireland. But I didn't grow up with it. I only grew up with some fortune-telling, crystal balls. People would go downtown to Boston. And I did a lesson on that earlier for my channel. But the longer I live, the more I see how absolutely hideous and disastrous is the reality of how some people live. The majority of the world lives, because it is a form of a very subtle control of, you might say, of evil. Because here, people are controlled with drugs and alcohol and porno and strip clubs and stuff like that. But the control that happens in, you can say, Africa or Latino countries or China, Asian countries, has all got to do with the unseen and people's belief in powers. So because I've always been attracted to other lands and how they live, when I realized that this book, Kitab al-Tawheed, centers on this, and that is why it's forbidden in so many countries, and so many rulers don't like it, and most people don't even know what it is. So because Allah allowed me to know about it, I feel beholden. It's a form of amana that I discuss it, which might be why my internet is becoming so difficult to acquire. But Allahu Akbar, we say, right? So I'm going to do, in this month of Muharram, which we get more benefits, and anything we do, it's as good as Ramadan, actually. And so I'm going to hopefully finish this by the end of Muharram. And I'm going to specifically concentrate on these days up till the Ashura. Don't forget to fast. Some people fast 2 days, some people fast 3. You can only fast 1 if you would like to just fast 1. And that would be for us this Saturday. Now, today's chapter is called, you're going to love this. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to do this again. When my internet is fixed, I'm going to do this chapter, give it its proper due. But for now, we're going to make it brief so I can upload it. This is called Bab Ma Ja'ar. باب ما جاء في تطير. Yes, في تطير. Okay, this means things that fly. You know, the airplane is called tayara. Tayara means, it's a verb, to fly. Now let's discuss the meaning first. تعريف التطير. Of course, no tashkil, so it could be tatir. It keeps complaining about this. Anyway, في لغة, in the linguistic sense, مصدر تطير, وأصله ما يأخذ من طير, لأن العرب يتشائمون أو يتفاعلون بالطير على طريقة المعروفة عندهم بزجر الطير. It's telling you that Arabs believed in flying things, mainly birds, and they would be optimistic or pessimistic accordingly with these flying creatures. It is well known from the Arabs to have this problem. ثم ينظر هل يذهبوا بيميني أو شمالي أو أشبه ذلك. They would observe whether they would fly to the left or the right. فإن ذهب إلى الجهة التي فيها تيامن أقدم أو فيها تشاؤم أهجم. So they would either go towards the direction that they felt was good luck, or to the opposite direction, which would be to the left. They would find that it would be, for them, pessimistic, and they just wouldn't go. They would cancel the trip. أما في استلاحة فهم تشاؤموا برأي أو مسموع. That was the linguistic that I previously explained, but with the actual analysis, it would have to do with things seen or heard. وهذا من الأمور النادرة, and this is more rare. لأن الغالب أن اللغة أوسع من الاصطلاح. So they're saying the previous description, linguistic, is more widely done and known than that one I just told you about. لأن الاصطلاح يدخل على الألفاظ قيودا تخصها. Because this one, the istilaha, is tied to specifics. مثلا الصلاة لغة الدعاء. So if we say the word as-salah, linguistically it means a dua, an invocation. وفي استلاحها أخص من دعاء. So if we're talking about istilah, it's more specific than just an invocation. كذلك الزكاة وغيرها. So you just got a little brief synopsis of istilah al-hadith. The words that are used in the science of studying hadith are very specific, more specific than just the linguistic meaning. وإن شئت فقل التطير هو تشاؤم بمرئي أو مسموع. So we're going to stop here because this is quite enough. He's saying, in essence, this subject has to do with things seen and heard. And in this chapter, specifically, bird sounds or bird motions, or any flying things that they look up and determine. I don't know. I don't want to go too deep in this because, as you know, when he gets in descriptives, it could be a few pages. So let's just go to the Quran and the Hadith, which will allow us to get this done. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألا إنما تعارهم عند الله ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون. Surah Al-Araf. Allah says, don't you see? The ta'ira, the flying things that you're so obsessed with, they are عند Allah. But most do not know. The next verse. قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. Surah Yasin. Allah says in this verse, they said, your flying apprehensions of what you feel, you think, are with you. So, أئن ذكرتم, if you think about it, stop and think about it. Most of you, antum kaum